Star Trek's always walks the line between high concept and heartfelt adventure. But this week, Strange New Worlds decided to have a little fun with that formula. And I'll be honest, I think it worked. Or did it? What starts out as a routine tech test turns into a literal whodunit, and you won't believe where the story takes us. From unexpected kisses to canon controversy and a theory that might melt your warp core, this is one episode you don't want to skip. So buckle up, because we're about to go deep into a space adventure hour. But before we do, make sure you're subscribed. There's plenty more coming your way, and you're not going to want to miss a single star date. First of all, we are going to red alert because this review contains spoilers for a space adventure hour, the fourth episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3. You have been warned. Now, I'm going to be breaking this episode down into what I thought was good, what didn't quite hit the mark, and then, because I simply can't resist it, a batshit crazy theory about what it all might mean. Before we do, though, let's get started with a brief recap. La'an has been tasked with testing a new piece of technology, a holodeck prototype, whilst the Enterprise is parked next to a collapsing star. Well, what could possibly go wrong, right? Cue the malfunction, cue the murder mystery, cue the ticking clock. To escape disaster, La'an has to play out that fictional holonovel and solve the case before the Enterprise becomes stardust. But before we jump into the good, the bad and the bonkers, let's talk about that holodeck. Now, I know what some Trekkies are thinking. Holodecks in 2261? Isn't that a bit early? But actually it's not. Go back to Star Trek Enterprise, the first season episode Unexpected. You know, that's the one where Trip ends up getting pregnant, and we meet a race called the Zyrillians. They had a holodeck on their ship. Sure, it couldn't recreate real people, but tech always evolves, right? And that was 110 years prior to this episode. So it's entirely plausible that Starfleet walked away from that encounter with a few new technological gadgets tucked under their tunics. And don't forget Star Trek the Animated Series Season 2, which is only set a few years, not that many years, after this Strange New Worlds here. And in the Season 2 episode, The Practical Joker, the Enterprise showed that it had a rec room, which was essentially a holodeck in all but name. And here in Strange New Worlds, Pike even calls it a recreation room. That's no accident. He is clearly referencing that animated series episode. And of course, Una then says holodeck. It's, it's easier to say. So, canon purists out there, take a deep breath. This is no violation. This is perfectly well within canon, and it's a nice little homage as well. So, on to the good, the bad, and the batshit, and let's start with the good, because frankly, in this episode, there is a lot to love. First up, The Last Frontier, the fictional show within the show. I mean, what a delight. It's a brilliant execution of the play within the play, a concept that Shakespeare himself used and would be proud to see played out here, I'm sure. And the production design, absolutely dripping with love for the original series. That soundboard alone deserves an Emmy in my view. Every beep, door swoosh, laser sound, an absolute love letter to the original series. Now, there are so many Easter eggs in that one part that I'm not even going to attempt to list them here. I wouldn't be doing them justice. But what I will do is a dedicated video breaking them all down further into August once the Cambridge Shakespeare Festival wraps up. So as many of our regular viewers will know, I am currently performing as part of the Cambridge Shakespeare Festival, and it's taking up a lot of my time right now, so I'm not able to get as many videos out as I had hoped. But I do promise you it is going to be worth the wait, so make sure you're subscribed and you don't miss that deep dive, along with all the other stuff that's coming as well. Back to this episode, though. I think the structure of the murder mystery was genuinely well done. It balanced tension, humour and character insight beautifully. And can we just take a moment to appreciate a La'an-focused episode that isn't all doom and trauma? Seeing her have fun, yes, actual fun, was a breath of fresh air. But it wasn't all smooth sailing, so on to the bad. And the biggest gripe for me, the trope of the holodeck malfunctions and now the crew has to play out the story. It's been done and done and then done again. I mean, this time it was well executed, but it's become a bit of a trope, as I say at this point. And while I love the inclusion of Scotty in this, his role raised some questions for me. If he could communicate with La'an to tell her she needed to solve the mystery, why didn't he just skim the code ahead of time and tell her who the murderer was? I mean, yes, I get it. It would ruin the dramatic pacing. But within the world of the story, it's a bit of a plot black hole and a bit of a thing that took me out of it. But speaking of holes, where was the real Spock during all of this? I mean, we see his holographic counterpart helping La'an, but there's no mention of where the actual Spock is. Now, for me, that's a pretty big omission, even for a character who's used to getting lost in his own logic. His absence, the real Spock's absence, was glaring when you look back at it, I think. Anyway, on to our batshit theory for this week. And while there's been quite a dark theory running so far, I'm going to go on to a much, much lighter one. And I'm going to talk about that kiss. Now, story-wise, I didn't love it. To me, it just felt wrong. Now, I'm not putting it under the bad because of my batshit theory that I have for you. I don't think it really happened. Perhaps it's still part of the simulation, or maybe we'll find out in a later episode that it was part of a dream, La'an's or possibly Spock's. Because as much as I love the idea of characters exploring new relationships, that one doesn't feel right. Not now, not with everything Spock has been through. There's something off about that moment, and I'm looking at that as a kind of clue that, it didn't really happen. I think, yes, they can explore having feelings for each other. I think that would be a great way to go, particularly if it's La'an having feelings for Spock that are unrequited. I think that would be a fantastic route, but no relationship between them, please. Anyway, what did you think of A Space Adventure Hour? Did the holodeck romp tickle your nostalgia circuits, or were you left wondering what the hell you just watched? Let me know in the comments. I do always read them, and I try and answer as many as I possibly can. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss my next Strange New Worlds review. Next up is episode 5, and we may be having some wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey situations going on with that one. So that's going to get interesting. Anyway, for now, I'm Stu Jackson, and this has been your Hailing Frequencies episode review. I will see you in the next one. My girlfriend keeps calling me a hologram. Personally, I think she's just projecting.